Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let's take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome to Wisconsin Family. I'm Jessa Jeremiah.
And I'm Justin Riley. We have a great show today. We are at J&K Security Solutions, and we are learning about sound technology.
Yeah, it's a distributed audio. I've learned
audio.
the technical term. I am working on it
Yes.
here. But yeah, a unique concept. It may sound complicated, but it's actually very easy to get it in your home and have potentially even different music and things happening in different rooms all through one big system.
Yeah, all from one central system. So it's pretty cool there. We'll also be joined by August from Pump It Up. She's going to talk about summer specials happening at Pump It Up and how it's easy if you've got a grown-up meeting and you have kids, just have the meeting over at Pump It Up. They'll take care of you.
I think that's great. And the birthday parties are getting more and more elaborate. Yep. So this is a great way to, one up the Joneses, right?
That's right. And Laura from Better Business Bureau will join us and talk about how the people who are getting scammed nowadays might not be who you think. That's coming up right after the break here on Wisconsin Family. Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We are here at J&K Security Solutions in their model smart home, and we look forward to speaking with those folks later on in the show.
Sure do. Can't wait.
Absolutely. And we're joined now by Laura Mayle from the Better Business Bureau serving Wisconsin. Laura, welcome back.
Well, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So I want to just jump right in here because the Better Business Bureau is always doing research on for consumer protection and scams and things like that. But one of the more recent studies that you conducted, you were asking questions to consumers about scams. Mm-hmm. What were you looking for specifically?
Yeah, so recently we surveyed 2,000 consumers, and we didn't tell them that it was the Better Business Bureau surveying them. Okay. So we feel we got better information, more neutral, natural information. What we asked them is we asked them about their perceived vulnerability to scams, who they thought were most likely to be scammed, and then factors that they felt would help people or help themselves avoid being scammed. And we had some pretty interesting findings.
Well, what do you think was that? This is kind of fascinating, especially since you didn't disclose rather that you're the Better Business Bureau. I think that was a really smart way to do that. What do you think was the most surprising thing that you found?
Yeah, the most surprising thing was who is scammed and who loses money most often. Now, typically we think that's a senior, right? The little old lady, she's taken advantage of, or somebody who's maybe a little bit more gullible or a little bit less educated. And what we found is that our millennials are 3 times more likely to be scammed.
Oh, that's very surprising.
I know, they lose money 34% of the time.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a very different result than I was expecting.
Puff up my chest here and represent for millennials out there.
Yeah, no, you nailed it. I was thinking seniors definitely was going to be the top category.
So, I mean, what do you think the change is? Because obviously the reason for our perception of seniors is because traditionally, in the past, historically, that has been the case.
Yeah.
What do you attribute to the change?
Yeah, I think it's because there's so much education for seniors. So organizations like the Better Business Bureau, the media, we go out and we tell seniors what's going on, what to look for, what scams are happening, what they should and shouldn't do, and we put a lot of time, energy, and efforts behind that. Also, our seniors are less likely to be purchasing online. They're less likely to have impulsive purchases, where our millennials are exactly the opposite.
Absolutely.
We don't educate them. We don't go into the classroom or to the workplace and look for those people 18 to 24, 26 and say, look, this is what's going on. And because they tend to be such impulsive buyers and they're doing it online, they skim right through and say yes, 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 and then all of a sudden,
Because that's what they're used to. I agree, I agree.
Exactly. You don't read the fine print. You get so used to making those purchases, maybe from companies you've never even heard of. Wow, interesting. Okay, so now that we know that those savvy seniors are taken care of, or at least better so, are there some other surprising facts, or what else did you find from the survey?
Yeah, the idea of optimism bias really came out extremely strong. This feeling that I can't be scammed, it's going to happen to someone else, or I'm too educated, I know too much. This idea that it doesn't happen to me, it happens to other people.
Yes. I get that,
So-
because it's not going to happen to me. So I agree.
So we know that there's been a shift towards millennials being more likely to be scammed than seniors, and we found out why. What's the next step? What do we do with this information now?
Yeah, the next step really is to have better education, and really that education needs to go towards everyone. I mean, if our seniors are being more savvy about being scammed, then our scammers are getting more savvy, knowing this group is not as pliable as they used to be. So now they have to move on to other groups.
Right.
So really, we're all more at risk, no matter what age we are. We just found by this survey that it was millennials. So it's, groups like the Better Business Bureau, the media, all of us going out and making sure that we're educating and focusing in on those other groups.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's talk before we go about Scam Tracker. Now, what is Scam Tracker, and why do you think it's important to get the message out about this?
Yeah. So, and I think I've talked about Scam Tracker before. We launched it in 2015. It's a crowdsourced resource. So Scam Tracker is an online resource. You go in, you can see what scams are happening, you can enter in, hey, I've been scammed, here's my information. We found that people report more often when they feel like they're telling someone else and informing someone else so it doesn't happen to them. We also use that with law enforcement, so as they're investigating something, they can come to us and we can give them information.
Oh, really important.
Kind of a network
information.
of awareness for scams and that sort of thing. I'm curious to know, we've got just a couple seconds left, but do you think, and I don't know how far you guys are into the process of trying to reach the millennial group, but do you think that that's going to be more difficult because there's that perception of I can't be scammed? I mean, do you think that'll be more difficult to try to reach those folks than it is seniors, for example?
I think if I can get in front of the group, it's not difficult. I was able to get into a class at the UW Law School.
Okay.
And the class was very perceptive, exactly the group I want to get to. So for me, I think once I can get in front of the group, they're very receptive to it. It's just getting my place there in front of them. So.
Absolutely.
Laura
Good
Mayo
info.
from the Better Business Bureau, thank you so much for joining us. Check out their website, find out all the latest information out there, and don't go away, there's more Wisconsin Family coming up right after the break. Stick around.
'Cause every day is a new day.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. We are enjoying ourselves, all three of us now, here at the Model Smart Home for J&K Security Solutions, and it's a lovely spot.
It is a great spot. We're in a new spot today.
We're in a new spot, yes. We're going to chat with the folks in just a little bit, but first we're going to talk about a very fun activity for the whole family, for the kiddos. We're talking to August DeSalvo from Pump It Up, and we are so pleased to have you back.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Nice to see you, nice to have you, and boy, summer is definitely a time for families and kids who have summer birthday parties, lucky kids, right? Summer's the best because you can plan those big parties, right? And it's nice out, but there's lots of activities to do, including at Pump It Up, so you've got some fun things going on for birthday
We
parties.
do, absolutely. And especially summer specials. So we do offer lots of summer specials to make it more affordable for the families. And a couple of the things we have going on right now is typically our weekend parties are high demand and we usually sell out, so they're a little higher priced. Well, in the summertime, we're actually doing weekday pricing for weekend parties. So you can save a significant amount of money on a weekend party right now. We also, in the month of August, so if you have an August baby, book that now because you also get an additional $100 off a party at Pump It Up. So
That's incredible.
$100 off.
wonderful specials right now, for sure.
No
Absolutely.
kidding. I didn't know the special was going to be that special.
I know.
It's very
It is
special.
very.
So, we've talked a little bit about, you've been coming on Wisconsin Family for a couple of months now here, more than a couple of months, and we know now that Pump It Up isn't just for birthday parties. So what are some of the other events that you have going on right now?
Absolutely. Well, we have a large venue with both a party room space for eating and having fun, and then we also have the bounce house rooms, and so it's really ideal for lots of different types of events. And so some of the things that we host there, first of all, field trips are huge, whether it's a daycare, preschool, or other schools just coming out and letting the kids stretch their legs, especially in the winter or the dead of the summer when it's really hot. Field trips have been really popular. Sure. Also PTO meetings. So always looking for some, or any type of mom's group really, that you have the kids, now I want to go to this mom's group, or I want to go to this meeting, but what am I going to do with the children? Maybe your husband travels, etc. An excuse to get the business done, but also let the kids have some fun in the next room. So we've done some creative things like that.
I think that's great, because it is challenging, even if you're just talking about seeing a group of friends, like you said, a mom's group or something like that. You may think, well, let's go to the park and get together, but it becomes that feeling. You really don't get to talk or catch up or get anything done if you're trying to have a meeting, because you're really concerned about making sure everyone's safe and accounted for.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what a great idea to kind of be able to really connect with somebody and let the kids have some fun.
Absolutely. And we, give us a call on anything specific like that, because we'll basically work with the group and a lot of times just give you the space for free if they have the kiddos come do open jump and just pay for the kids the small amount for open jump. And that way that allows us to hire the staff to supervise them, of course, but very minimal, no extra cost for the meeting room per se. We'll definitely work with those groups. Also, sensory jumps for special needs children.
Cool.
We've done some special events like that. They love it. It's a safe environment for them. And then sport teams, clubs, Cub Scouts, things of that nature, end of the year party, mid-year party, those types of things. A great venue to come celebrate. Last month we even did a vintage sign painting. So we had like a mom's night where they painted the new vintage signs that are popular today, and the kiddos all jumped. That was a ton of fun. So lots of events, just watch our calendar.
That's great. And kind of circling back to birthday parties, let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that as time has progressed here, birthday parties have gotten more and more elaborate. Is it just me? Especially for the young kids. So tell us, is there something that you're doing to kind of help play into that unique idea that we're all searching for these days?
Absolutely. Especially something like Pump It Up, because your classmate has it, and then another classmate has it, and another classmate has it, and it becomes very similar. And so we're always looking for ways to mix it up and make it more unique. And a few of the things that have been really popular lately is we have this huge bubble machine, and so especially the little girls, they just absolutely adore it, but sprays bubbles all over the arena, and we do about a 20-minute bubble segment. We also have a balloon drop now, so like a New Year's Eve balloon drop that can happen in the middle of your party, which is a ton of fun. The kids love that, hundreds of balloons falling on their heads. And then Glow Wars. We've always had Glow, which is one of our most popular add-ons, where they turn off the lights and everything glows, but Glow Wars are actually like little glow guns, so they can play guns with these glow balls and have all kinds of games and activities. So lots of different things they can add on to make it different than the last person's.
That's really neat.
And we have less than a minute left, but I wanted to try to get to this. Last time you mentioned that you were hiring. You're looking for party attendants. Are you still looking for party attendants?
Absolutely. Our ideal candidate is high schoolers a lot of times, and they graduate and go on to college to bigger and better things, and so they are missed. But there's always that turnover in the summer when they go off to college. So if you're creative, you like to have fun, you love children, and you have a lot of energy, we'd love to see you apply at Pump It Up. We're always looking for party attendants to just come in, have a good time. We're very flexible. You can work as little as 1 day a week. Do a couple parties. We work around sports activities. We're very flexible, so great first job.
Yeah, absolutely.
You like bubbles and balloon drops?
Yes,
which I certainly do.
Absolutely. I wish it was my first job.
I know. That sounds awesome. Well, August, thank you for joining us. Make sure you bring those kiddos to Pump It Up. Sounds like lots of fun.
Absolutely.
We're going to be back. We're checking in with J&K Security Solutions after the break.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Family. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. We're here at J&K Security Solutions in their Model Smart Home, and we're going to talk a little bit about home audio and some of the advancements that have been made in installing home audio in your home. And here to talk more about that is the head of the Smart Home Division, Bill Topol. Is it fair to call you head?
I suppose.
For this show, you are.
I am, yes.
For this show, you are. Bill, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for being here. How are you?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. So we're going to talk a little bit about, I'm just excited because I love gadgets and toys and things like that, but let's talk a little bit about distributed audio. This is something that's it's relatively new, but really not that new. Can you talk to us a little bit about what distributed audio is?
It's not relatively new, but it's kind of the way it's progressing and changing, and the way homes are kind of coming with these sort of solutions in them right out the gate is evolving to where it's just expected now. The simplest explanation of distributed audio is speakers that are built in throughout the house that people can listen to audio in multiple rooms.
Sure, a central speaker system.
Yep, exactly. And typically they're built in walls or in ceilings. It sort of depends on the height of the ceiling, the finish, how the end user wants to use it. If you're looking to work with a designer or an architect that has some sort of specifications that you have to follow, a couple of things to follow.
Yeah, you look at larger homes that have been built within the last 10 years or so. A lot of them have that just kind of built in. But we'll touch on this later on in the interview. But there's a way that you can sort of retrofit your home for that. So
yeah, I think that's an interesting point. Well, really that you made is that it's sort of becoming the norm, like the expectation that you're going to have these components to your home. Excuse me, this technology component is just sort of expected these days, and maybe that's something that you notice more so when you have an older home that the technology just isn't quite up to par. So let's talk a little bit about distributed audio types for folks who aren't familiar with kind of the different ways you can utilize it.
Sure. What we've really been seeing over the last couple of years are primarily two kinds of systems. One would be a single source, multiple zone system. In one of those, you would have speakers throughout the home, and when I talk about a zone of audio, I'm referring specifically to a room. So a kitchen would be a zone, a patio would be a zone. You would have built-in speakers. The wiring would run to a centralized amplifier. The amplifier would have one source play throughout the house, and you would go turn those zones on and off through a rotary style volume controller, something that would probably typically be locally in the room there in the wall, much like a light switch. Pretty basic, pretty easy to do, straightforward. It does narrow your options as what you can have because that one source is playing simultaneously throughout all the rooms. A little more of a sophisticated style, and we're seeing a lot of these now, are something called a multiple source, multiple zone amplifier. And that's kind of what I have here on the bottom here. So this
we need to talk about our toys here.
Yeah, so this would be what's called a 4x4. So this has four audio inputs to 4 zone outputs. And with one of these, you take away those rotary style volume controls. Everything's done through an electronic interface, a touch screen, a phone, or a tablet. I could be listening to my music in the kitchen, and you could be listening to yours outside, and we have our own independent streams going on. You could turn your volume up, and I could turn my volume down, completely separate of one another. Maybe we're having a party. Now all of a sudden we can hit a button and we join all the zones together, so maybe they're playing everything throughout the house in what's usually called like a party mode. So a little more options and flexibility with those.
So with single source, multiple zones, you're sort of limited because it can only be it's either on or off, or the volume. You can adjust the volume within each zone, but it's essentially going to be the same music or the same sound source.
It will be the same. So if you're listening to Pandora and that's what you're listening to as your source, that will be playing through all the zones throughout the house. You can turn them off through that volume control that's in the wall, or turn the volume down versus another room, but that will be playing the entire time.
With multiple zones, you can actually, and you guys have the capability of doing this, you can actually listen to different things. So what's happening in the kitchen can be different from what's being heard on the patio.
And really quick follow-up question. You mentioned that single zone is easy to use. How about multiple zone? I mean, is it challenging? I see lots of plugins that scare me.
No, not at all. You as the end user don't see any of these plugins. Everything will be a nice, friendly, easy to use interface on a tablet or a phone, something like that, where you would go, you would have kitchen, and you would hit the box and it would check it, and you would hit done, and it would start playing in that one.
So more capability doesn't mean more complicated for the
Not
user.
at all. It's actually, it's very simple to use, very simple to use.
How do people typically zone their homes? I mean, I'm assuming that's probably a decision in and of itself to figure out, okay, what zone where do I want the zone boundaries to be?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and that's usually whenever we're making that determination, we have our opinions, and then we have to meet with a customer or a builder, the end user, and get really their opinion. Typically, there's 4 ones that are the most popular in any home, and in order, the number 1 is the kitchen. Large congregating area. You're having parties. That's where the food.
It's become the gathering place.
It's where the food and drinks are.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
why would you not want it to be there?
Yeah.
The second one would be an outdoor patio or a
sure.
deck or something like that. Summertime, right now, perfect to be outside grilling. Want to have music outside.
Absolutely, yeah.
And believe it or not, the third most popular is the master bathroom.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're getting ready in the morning.
Okay,
Some
that
people
makes
take
sense.
longer than others.
Yeah.
You don't want to just sit there in awkward silence the whole time.
Right.
Sure.
Fire up your music and listen to your music in the morning. And some of these systems actually have the capability where you can set alarms or schedules where the music will maybe just start automatically playing at like 6 o'clock.
In a particular zone.
Yeah, so we could program a system like the master bathroom where you'd want to listen to your Pandora station, and we have that start playing at 7 o'clock in the morning. You always get up at 7. That's when you want it to start playing, and you always leave at 8:30. Maybe it can turn itself off at 8:30 automatically.
That sounds like a really fun alarm system.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I gotta get in there. That's my jam.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Gives you incentive to get in there for
That's
sure.
right.
And the fourth one would be usually like a lower level rec room or something like that. And after that, it's kind of really end user specific as to what they want.
Yeah.
So before we go, let's quick talk about source selection and what that basically means.
So sources are how people play it. Most people play it through a Pandora, Spotify, which is on a tablet or a phone, AirPlay. Use various inputs like a Sonos Connect, which can be an input into an existing amplifier. Most people have that. The days of a CD player is something you plug physically into something or
Right. CDs are ancient.
they're done.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, obsolete. Yeah, and I think it's important for viewers to know also that this can, if they live in an older home or a home that has not, doesn't have a system like this built in, this can easily be retrofit into their home. And technology is so wireless nowadays, it's really non-invasive. It's not like you got to plug a bunch of holes into the walls.
Exactly. There's a product out there right now that's really dominating the market called Sonos. Sonos is a wonderful option. It's a wireless speakers throughout the room. They come in different sizes based on the size of the room, and all they do is they require power. Plug it into an outlet, sync it up to your Wi-Fi, get out your phone, play straight to it. Join them all together, have that party mode like we talked about.
And you guys can show people how to do that, how to get them going on it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Really easy to do.
Really great place here at J&K Security Solutions Model Smart Home. Bill Topol, thank you so much for
Bill.
talking to us.
Thanks for coming in.
And that's all the time we have for Wisconsin Family. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time.
Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands.